this computer. All right, hey guys, welcome to our Sunday night power planning session. I hope you guys are ready for just a nuts and bolts kind of night. I think I talked about this a little bit the last couple of weeks. Actually, last week, thank you, Sandra Dilbeck, for covering while I was gone. So prior to that, and I know I've talked to my team a lot about this, I took for granted that because I feel like so many people talk about the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I took for granted that people knew what that meant and that they knew how to fill it in. And we've launched a boot camp in our team, and lo and behold, that is the farthest from the truth possible. So I know for me, I have done the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for so long that I got kind of lazy about writing stuff down. So it's been eye-opening for me to be writing things back down and really keeping track of it. But again, most eye-opening process of probably all of this is that so many people don't actually know what you're supposed to put in for the 5, 4, 3, and 2, the 1, and how you go about even finding those things. So we're going to go real nuts and bolts tonight on that. Before we do though, I want to make sure that all of you know about the March Mania promo. I'm not going to make this a training by any means. If you don't know about it, check your emails, look on your team pages. If you have a team page and you haven't yet done a quick live or some sort of something to make sure your team knows, I want to encourage you to do that now, because there's a lot of people who we just assume know what's going on, and they don't. Trust me, they don't. And the other thing, it is the 6th of the month, which means we have an auto ship on the 10th. So we're going to go over that too. But before we do anything, we're going to start with our rate of run, which we start with every week. So what you're going to do is get logged into your cloud. Also, you guys, I have the chat open all the time. So if you have a question, you can type it in, or you can always unmute and shoot a question also. Right there on that very main page of your cloud office, you're going to scroll down to where you see the business dashboard and business snapshot. Where it says business snapshot, there's a little arrow. Just hit that arrow and it'll drop down the whole snapshot. In that first block of information, you're going to see where it says current QV. You're going to take that dollar amount and you are going to divide it by 6, because today is the 6th day of the month. We are trying to find out what you and your team have done on average every day this month so far. So you have a much smaller number that you're now looking at. And I don't want to sound stupid, but okay, 31. And then you're going to take that new smaller number and you're going to multiply it by 31, because we have 31 days in the month coming up, like in front of us still. So now you are looking at a new number, a much larger number. This is the number that you and your team are on track to hit if you keep going at the rate you're going. So some of you are going to look at that number and be like, dang, that looks awesome. And if that's where you're at, good. Don't settle on it. Don't sit on it. It's not a guaranteed number. But also some of you are going to look at that and be like, oh crap, that's not where I need to be. I need to be higher. And so same thing, it's not a guaranteed number. You can change that number. You are in control of that number. So I would encourage you, if your number is not where you want it to be, contact your upline directly. Don't expect your upline to change your business by any means, but talk to your upline honestly. Where do you see weaknesses in my business? Where do you see I could be doing more? Where do you see I'm not showing up? You know, what, and a lot of times, honestly, when somebody comes to me and says that, I will say, what's your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 look like? And sometimes they'll be like, I don't know what that is. Or here it is. I haven't been able to finish it. I did some of it the other day. You know, you get all kinds of answers. And so depending on what someone is consistently doing every single day in their business, and I'm not talking like big major money moves, I'm talking about consistent small activities, you'll be able to see if they're on track. So spoiler alert, the people in our boot camp that have just been doing consistent activities over the last few weeks, their business is changing, right? Like those of you that are in boot camp and you know what's happening to you, it's no one's asking you for rocket science. Yes, some of you that are further along, we're asking a little bit more of you, but the majority of you are just being held accountable to your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and your business is changing. And so keep that in mind when you think of that rate of run number. If it's not where you want it to be, if you are doing what you need to do, it will get there. I wish I could tell you today, that would be great, but I can't. But I know if you don't do it consistently, it will never get there. So rate of run is where we start. Now, the second place I want to go, we're still in your cloud. This time we're going to go up to the menu, like the little 3-line menu on the right, and you're going to click my team. From that menu, you're going to click my customers. Now there's a big orange bar that says my customers, and underneath of it, you're going to see customer name, customer number, email. Scroll all the way to the right until you see the box that says next auto ship. Click the next auto ship box twice. That's going to populate for you by date, and it's going to show you who has an upcoming auto ship. So do you see anyone in that list that says 3/10/2022? If you do, write their name down on Monday on your 54321. That's going to be your very first name that you're writing down. Now, it's not a reach out, it's a follow-up. Okay, that's a follow-up. That's an existing customer. So you're going to write their name down in the follow-up category. If you see somebody with a 315, which we're going to talk about that again next week, but I would go ahead and write them down today also, because there's no sense in putting it off. And you could probably write their name down on, say, your follow-up for Thursday. That way you're not attacking too many people early. So I just put their name down, and then I put AS next to it as a reminder for me that that's an auto ship follow-up. All right. So those two kind of bread and butter things that we do on our power planning now lead me into, we've already touched it. We're going to start talking about our 54321. A lot of people will come to something like this and they'll have their blank 54321 for the week. And that's all they have with them. And that's a start. I'm not going to shame anybody for that, because that is a start. But what you also need to have with you are your 54321s from past weeks, because this upcoming sheet we're going to look at has a category called follow-up. The people you're going to follow up with are going to come off of these old sheets from all these reach outs that you've done. So they work together. And then in addition to your past 54321s, I encourage you to have your future 54321s, because we can start planning ahead also. Okay. So please don't think that I did a 54321 sheet this week and it's done, or it didn't work for me, or I'm moving on to a new sheet. These go together. You are constantly going to be looking at new friends that you've added, people you've reached out to, people you followed up with. Who do you need to follow up with next? When I see people take a past 54321 and throw it away or throw it in a drawer, it's almost like they wasted all the time that they put into that original sheet, because there's so much information from that sheet that we're going to carry forward. So I'm going to break it down for you, just really basic. And here's why I wanted to do this tonight. And this is why I said this is good for new promoters or seasoned promoters. If you are a seasoned promoter on here, yes, this will be repetitive to you. Guess how people learn? They practice, they get better. The more they practice, the better they get. So this might be practice for you. And so is that boring? Maybe, but will it make you better? Yes. If you are new and you've never heard this, obviously this is where you're going to start practicing. But the reason I really wanted to talk about this tonight is because I had 2 or 3 messages this week when I was checking up on people for their homework on the bootcamp thing that we're doing. And 2 or 3 of them were like, well, I talked to 10 people yesterday, and none of them were interested in my Thrive, which literally made me want to vomit slightly, but not completely, because I know when I was new and I was a new Thriver and not everyone in my family or friends group knew about Thrive, I could be so bold as to be like, hey, I'm using this new stuff. It's amazing. You should try it. It's called Thrive. I could be that bold because no one had heard of it. But if the only kind of reach out you're doing are, hey, have you heard of Thrive? Hey, did you see my post about Thrive? You are digging a hole, and trust me, because I dug that hole. Those are the people that you are comfortable enough to have that conversation with, are people you already know, people who already like you and trust you. But guess what? That group of people will run out, and it'll run out fast. And so what we are doing in the background with this 54321 is just constantly growing that group of people who know, like, and trust you. And the people who, when I first started promoting, knew me enough and liked me enough and loved me enough and trusted me enough to order Thrive, they didn't know and like me and trust me because of Thrive. They did it because they knew who I was, right? They knew me. They knew the things I loved. They knew that I was this aunt who loved her nephews, who loved to garden, who loved her dogs. They knew I was this person who did personal training. They knew things about me that had nothing to do with Thrive. And that's how we built our rapport and our trust, to the point where when they saw me doing something different and I mentioned something different, they were like, well, tell me more about it, because they already knew me. So when you're looking at your reach outs, your 54321 reach outs, if you're talking to someone that already knows, likes, and trusts you, I would call them a follow-up from the get-go. Maybe you're a brand new promoter and you're like, I don't have anybody to follow up with. That's not true. You have aunts, you have cousins, you have coworkers, you have siblings, you have friends. Those people already know, like, and trust you. That to me is a follow-up. The reach outs are people who I don't know very well, or I have lost track of, and we don't know each other very well. And I'm just trying to get to know them, and they're trying to get to know me. And I can guarantee you, we are not talking about Thrive, because if you've ever been on the other end of this as the person who's just scrolling your social media and you're getting bombarded with another direct sales company, and you're opening your messenger and people like, hey, I'm doing a contest. Hey, can you help me get to here? Hey, have you heard of this? Like, it makes me want to just log out and not talk to people. And guess what? That's how they're going to feel about you. You want to be hunted, not the hunter. And so basically what that means is you need to figure out who you are, what you love, and you need to let that light shine bright, 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 bright. Because that is who will eventually be coming to you. So for example, the people who already knew me and liked me and trusted me, I probably could have sold anything, to be honest with you. And they'd have been like, you know what? She has never lied to me. We have all this history together. She's the one that recommended that restaurant that was so good. I'm going to listen to what she has to say. So you have to start thinking of your reach outs as making new friends. I think Lindsay Coggin said this, you need to be a professional friend maker. That doesn't mean you're going to be everyone's BFF. It doesn't mean you need to start picking up people's kids for them and running to you don't need to do things like that. You're just going to start making connections on social media so people can get to know who you are. So when I see someone say, oh, I did my 3 social media posts, and I go and I look and all 3 social media posts are thrive, 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 that to me is going to be a red flag. Yes, if they're brand new, they might get away with it for a little bit. But again, they need to be talking about what they love, who they are, what's going on in their life, share snippets of their day. So like I'm looking at my screen here, Sandra Delbeck is a grandma. She's the 2 cutest, rambunctious little stinkers that she gets to spend time with. If I'm a grandma, I'm going to start seeing those pictures. I'm going to start being like, gosh, she's like a fun grandma. She does stuff with them. She goes places. How did she do? If you guys saw her post, I think it was yesterday, between like 7 a.m. and noon, she did more in her day than most people do all week. And someone's going to pick up on that and be like, gosh, I want to be that kind of grandma. And they're going to start paying attention to what she does. And they're going to start noticing she's got that silly sticker on. I saw something in one of her posts about this Thrive stuff. Like they're going to have to start going back and looking. But no one is going to be scrolling and be like, oh, that redhead with 2 little ones that's holding up that sticker. She talks about this sticker all the time. It must be great. Like, no, they're not going to know her. They're not going to have any clue. And the other thing I want to make sure you guys remember on your social media, when you are doing your post and letting your light shine, your light is not always 100% bright. Okay. And no one's is 100% bright. So if all they ever see is Sandra Delbeck being the perfect grandma with the perfect babies, wait, nobody want to talk to her. If they see her chicken hair up and she's showing a fun video of the kids tearing something up, if she's like, holy cow, they've been here for hours and this is why people don't have kids in their 40s and 50s. Like if she talks about those things, like I'm trying to shine my light bright, but these kids are bringing me down today, people are going to relate to her. And again, to her, not to her sticker, not to her company, but to her. So we're going to talk about the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I want you to remember that in the background. When I'm talking about reaching out to someone or following up with someone or doing a post, it's letting your light shine with who you are. My wild child. Yes. So, and like, if you watch some of her reels and TikToks, you'll see little glimpses of these wild children, which will just make anybody love the kids and Sandra more, that she's showing how real and funny they are. So when you are looking at reach outs, how can you do a reach out? Well, to me, a reach out is connecting with someone who I'm not super connected with. So for me, I've been in this business for a really long time. I spent all of February and I'm continuing, hopefully till the day I die. But I'm sending out 2 to 5 friend requests every single day. So the first couple of weeks of February, it was slow because I might have sent out 5 and I might not have heard back from anybody. The next day I sent out 5 and maybe I got 1 from the day before. But as I've been very consistent with it overall this time, I'm getting at least 2 or 3 new friends on Facebook every day. Now, how am I finding those friends? Facebook will give you suggestions. It'll flat out say to you, hey, these are people we think you might know. And it's basing that off of who you've been talking to lately, where you've tagged yourself, who maybe you've tagged yourself with. And it'll give you, it'll say you have 52 mutual friends, or you have 2 mutual friends. So you don't have to just go friend strangers. That's weird to me. Like a total, complete, utter stranger. That's weird to me. But Facebook will tell you who they think that you know. And you guys, a lot of times they're right. I've always been like, who is that? I don't know. And then I'll click on the picture and I'll scroll through. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so-and-so's aunt. Yeah, I remember. You like, it'll come back to you, but I don't necessarily know them, nor am I friending them to become like lifelong friends with them. I'm just connecting with them on social media. Okay. So that's one way, is to actually send out friend requests. Another way is when you're doing your social media, especially your reels, people are going to start following you as long as your profile is public. People can follow you. As you pick up new followers, you can write those names down. Sometimes too, if your reels and stuff are really great and good, people will send you friend requests. So I find now that I've been doing this more consistently, that the more I'm reaching out to find new people, Facebook is, I think, also popping my face up for people like, hey, because I've gotten some friend requests just on my own also of people who I am kind of sort of connected to, but we don't really know each other that well. Now I will tell you, I do not friend other thrivers. It's not because I don't think you guys are all amazing and wonderful, but I spend my time on social media to build my business. I do spend time in the evenings on social media to catch up with my friends, to scroll through reels and do funny things. But during the daytime, during my working hours, if I'm on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, I'm here for work. I'm making a living out of this thing, right? So if you see another thriver and you send them a friend request, just follow them. But I will tell you this too, don't go following a bunch of other thrivers. Like, just don't do it, because that's what you're going to see. And the more you see of other thrivers doing things, you're going to start to imitate what they're doing and not shining your own light. You're not going to talk about the things that are important to you. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I see this girl. She's in the Millionaires Club. I'm going to start posting like she does. Well, maybe she's, I can't think of the girl's name, but I remember early on, I was like, she's fascinating. Okay. She rode like trick horse ponies. Like, she did tricks on animals that were running through a ring with like cowboys and fringe. I can't recreate that post. I just can't. I mean, I could try, but I'll probably die. So don't think because someone is successful, you have to be following them. Spend your time wisely when you're on social media. Be looking for people you can connect with. Now, another way you can actually totally make friends with complete and utter strangers is when you start getting involved in different groups on Facebook and you start interacting with people on groups. Like, I'm in some gardening groups, and if somebody asks a question and I answer it, or I ask a question and they start answering it, I will send them a friend request. I'm sorry, Jacqueline, is it best to have friends or followers? People can follow you all day long. That's fine. It's what you do with your friend or your follower. And I just had this conversation today with someone. If someone friends me, they immediately go on to my number 2, the names added to my leads list. So if I send someone a friend request and they friend me back, their name goes right there on that leads list. As far as I'm concerned, they're a hot commodity. If somebody follows me, same thing, they're a hot commodity. I'm not just going to let somebody follow me and watch. Like, I'm going to connect with them. So what happens when you go to do that? Okay, sometimes they're weirdos. I encourage all of you, if you have a followers list, make it like part of your daily thing to check on 2 to 3 of them a day. Some of them say that they're surgeons in the army and they're not. Okay, you want to block those people. But some of them are going to be legitimate people that if they are following you and you are now they're connected to you that way, if their profile is public, you can go and peek on their pictures. Even if it's not totally public, some people will make a public post. So I will go to their profile because, it's not weird to me now. They followed me, right? They're in my back door. So now I'm going to go onto their profile. So yeah, there's so many generals and doctors in the foreign armies. And they all want to buy you pretty things, right? It's crazy. But so I'm going to go into their page now, and I'm going to see what kind of photos they have. Is there anything I can comment on? Did they make a post anywhere? And I'm not necessarily going to follow them back. And so the person I was talking to earlier today was like, but if I don't follow them back, you guys, you don't have to follow them back because you're going to write their name on your list. You're going to circle back to them in a few weeks. So you don't have to clog your feed by following them back. But if you can go into their profile and you can do the 3, 2, 1, where we like 3 photos, comment on 2, and then interact in their stories or messenger with them somehow. If I can get all 3 of those things done on a person that's following me, I'm writing their name down. I'm keeping them. So if I go into someone's, so like, let's say that Lisa Cook is following me and I go peek on her page and she's locked down. She's private as it gets. I know nothing about her. I can't touch her without being her friend. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to be like, okay, great for now. But her name is down. So I'm going to be able to check maybe once a month. Can I talk to this girl yet? Has she opened up yet? And maybe over that month, maybe she'll contact me some way, some shape, somehow. But in that moment, as far as I'm concerned, we are connected, but I don't have a way to get to her yet. So I think there's such a attitude of like, oh my God, I have so many followers. Oh my God. And you guys, I was the same way. I was like, am I going to be famous someday? Or people want to follow me? Oh my gosh. Are they really going to want to hear me ramble? But if they're just following you and you aren't trying to connect with them somehow, it does not matter. They are just, that would be like if all my neighbors right now lined up outside these windows and they were just staring at me, that'd be really weird, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. Let me ask this question.
Yeah.
Like if you do a reel and from that reel you get like 100 followers, mm-hmm. Should you just leave them in the status of followers, or should I go after and ask them to be friends? If they're following, that becomes part of my hot list, allegedly. Right? Because they willingly said, I want to follow you. Yeah. Should I be asking for friendship or just leave them in the status of follow?
Well, that's where I'm saying, I think you take that name, you take that list, and then you go into their page and you find out if they are spam or real. If they're spam, I get rid of them. If they're real, then how far can I go? Can I comment on their stuff? Can I, like send them a message of some sort? Then I'm going to play with that for a little bit before I bother friends, because you can only have so many friends on Facebook anyway. But there are going to be some people who are going to, I don't know, like maybe it's just a gut thing, but sometimes you log into someone's profile and you're like, I don't think that's really what this person does. And then there are just some where you're like, bless their heart, they don't even know how to use Facebook. This is a real live person who just doesn't know how to use Facebook. So I'm going to say, I leave that up to you if you want to friend them or not. Now, here's the thing. If you send them a friend request and they friend you back and then they are a weirdo, block them, unfriend them. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to keep them just because you friended them. But I just kind of use my gut on that one. I'll go through my, like these 4 people followed you from your reel or whatever. I'll go to those 4 accounts. Usually one of them is a computer and then some of them might be real. So I just kind of use my gut. And so I would tell you, just use your gut on that one. If you're like, hey, this looks like a legitimate human who truly liked my reel for what it was about, yeah, friend them. And then if it doesn't pan out, you can always unfriend them for sure. Okay, I'm a little off my mark, sorry. So for your 5 reach outs during the day, those reach outs can be anyone who friended you or you friended, anyone that maybe you're having conversations with in a group, like maybe you're in that group situation, like I was talking about my garden groups. A reach out could be, you could just be scrolling through your Facebook. I encourage you not to scroll, but let's say you're going through your Facebook and here's someone who you haven't seen in a long time and they put on, their kid did this or whatever. Make a comment. But then I always take that comment into Messenger. I like take it one step further, but that's a reach out. So it could be somebody brand spanking new to your social media, or it could be somebody you have known forever. I encourage you all to print your friends list, your Facebook friends list. Yes, it takes some time. Yes, it takes a lot of paper. But if you just print your Facebook friend list and or follower list, and you use that and you just tick off 10 people a day or 5, whatever you're shooting for, or 30, whatever you're shooting for, you're going to be having reach outs galore. And so what do I say or do in a reach out? My reach out isn't, hey, have you heard of Thrive? Hey, do you want to try my Thrive? My reach out is based off of what I see them doing. If I see them at the park with their kids, if I see them starting a new job, maybe somebody got a new car, maybe somebody was on vacation. I don't know. You guys know what social media looks like. There's something, everyone's doing something. I only comment on what they're doing. Like somebody put a post up the other day of their child. She was trying on her prom dress. And I was just like, oh my gosh, the dress is beautiful. It looks so good on her, but whatever I said. And then I clicked their little face and I went to their messenger and I said, I cannot believe she's already wearing a prom dress. Where is prom this year? Who is she going with this year? Is she going with a bunch of girls? Does she have a date? Like, I will ask the question. Now that's someone I know that I feel comfortable with, right? Because I'm asking about their child. But let's also say the other day, there was a lady who was on my Facebook. I don't know her very well to the point where I didn't even recognize her name, but we're Facebook friends. So she was posting pictures of Cancun, Mexico. Well, y'all know I love to travel. So I was like, oh my gosh, what a beautiful view. And then I immediately went in Messenger and I was, hey, I just saw your pictures from Cancun. What resort did you stay at? That turned into she and I going back and forth about resorts for probably an hour. So does she know I'm a thriver? I don't know, but she likes Mexico and I like Mexico. Now we have that. So you better bet if she plans on going somewhere or something comes up, she's going to think of me. But also big scheme, now that she and I've had this conversation and it went back and forth and back and forth. Facebook is like, oh, hey, they're friends. I better make sure I show her all of Tammy's stuff. So every day since we've had that conversation, she's been seeing my reels. She's been seeing my posts. She's commented on a couple. She's given me some likes. So don't underestimate how important it is to be in Messenger. Yes, commenting on someone's photo is great. And I think it's a great place to start because especially if it's someone you don't know, you can say, hey, I just saw that picture. So there was a guy that made a post tonight about, it was his dog. And I don't really know, I'm friends with him and his wife. I don't really know him, but I do know his wife better. So I made a comment on the picture about what the cute dog was, but then I sent her a message and said, hey, I just saw that he put the picture of your guys' dog up. What kind of dog is that? So I'm going into Messenger. I'm taking what I'm seeing and I'm taking it into Messenger. And once you're in Messenger with somebody, that, what is it like on a date? Like if you're liking and commenting, you're holding hands. Once you're into Messenger, you've made it onto the couch kind of with somebody, whatever. So like, that's how you start to build more of a conversation with somebody. And again, I'm asking them about them. Where did they vacation? Where is their child going to prom? What kind of puppy do they have? Because trust me, I could talk about my dogs all day and I could talk about Mexico myself all day, but I want to talk about them because I want them to tell me about them, right? So those are how I do my reach outs. I do not reach out to somebody and say, hey, you want to try my fry? I just don't. So, like I said, some new people can do that and you'll be able to ride that wagon. And if you're new and you're riding that wagon, good for you, but also in the background, be working on your non-close people and start building more people because you may have a network this big, but once you get through it, you got to grow that bad boy. And if you wait until you've gone through it, you're going to have some dead time. So just be building it all the time. Follow-ups could be somebody I talked to. So I have a girl that I talked to on February 14th. She was a new reach out. In other words, a fresh reach out, someone who I did not know that great. And I made a little note here that she got a new puppy. And so I moved her to the 14th of March. And I'm going to just follow up. How's it going with the puppy? How's your first month with the puppy? When I do stuff like that, yes, it is calculated. This is a business, okay? But it is a human level. People are like, oh my gosh, thanks for asking. I can't believe you remembered I had this puppy. So how did I remember? I wrote it down because trust me, this doesn't hold any of that, but these pieces of paper do. So I wrote it down, but now I've done a follow-up. Now this person knows I truly did take interest in the fact that they got a puppy. I truly am curious because puppies are hard. So I can't wait to hear what she has to say about this puppy a month in. I mean, forward scene, you want to kind of give him back at that point. But again, that's where I'm taking somebody. That's where I took somebody from back in the middle of February and I went ahead and bumped them forward on my upcoming sheet so I don't forget to talk to them. So a follow-up could be someone I spoke with prior. Sometimes too, maybe Lisa Cook had a girl just reach out to her, ask her about her Thrive. Before she knew it, she had hopped on and ordered a 2-week package. So that might have been somebody that she had talked to, like say on March 1st, and she was going to follow up with them later. Well, now she doesn't have, now it's a different kind of follow-up, right? So a follow-up could be someone who's ordered, someone who you've spoken with. It could be someone who is on a trial pack. A follow-up could even be, here's the thing I think a lot of people miss. A follow-up could be a promoter on your team that ain't doing diddle. That's a follow-up for me because I'm not just building customers. I'm trying to keep my team intact. And there comes a point in time where promoters become what I call non-promoting promoters. They're just glorified customers. So I make sure I keep them on my list. I make sure I circle back through them. So they will be in my follow-up category. And again, yeah.
Can I just add a little something?
Yeah.
I did that senior picture on Thursday and I did it on purpose because I felt like my Facebook feed had been dead. I got a huge response. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to go back into those people who commented on that and take that into Messenger and say, hey, it was great to see you on Facebook. How's blah, 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 just to try to But like I said, I think I know it was well over 150 people who commented. So that's going to be in my follow-up this week. Those people, go back in there, make a list, pick 5 a day, and go into Messenger with them and say, hey, great to see you on Facebook. How's your family?
Yes. So that's a perfect example of why we do the social media posts, because sometimes we're looking for people to talk to. They're right there. They're coming to us. They're liking stuff. They're commenting on stuff. Yes. Go back to your birthday wishes. Yes. So now I will say I keep my birthday. I think birthday reach outs are super important. I don't consider them on my reach out list because to me, it's a freebie. I do think that birthday reach outs, once they go into Messenger, if they want to sample, then it becomes like a follow-up, right? Because then they're, yeah, go ahead, use undelete or unmute or whatever.
And delete.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like if you just recently had a birthday, if you've had like hundreds of people, there's no way that you've gotten all those people to say thank you. So that's where you can go and take it in Messenger, add those people to your follow-up list.
Yes.
They're not necessarily going to be a reach out. They're going to be a follow-up, because my birthday was in January and it was insane. I still have not even thanked everybody yet.
Yes. Perfect example. So maybe somebody's commented on your post or commented on your reel, or I don't know, like that. When people say to me, I don't know who to talk to, they're overthinking it, because your social media, if there's plenty of people for you to talk to. The thing I like to make sure people don't do is that you don't keep talking to the same people over and over and over and over. That's why I like to spread them out and remind myself to follow up. But yeah, if you do like, so case in point, so we're moving on to number 3, social media posts, and I'm going over time tonight, whatever. Social media posts. So that could be in your stories. That could be a reel or a TikTok. That could be an actual post. There's lots of ways to share on social media, and I encourage you to dabble and spread it all out there. But remember, when you're making those posts, you are letting your light shine. What are you talking about? What is important to you? And so I'm not saying don't post about Thrive, because Thrive is a part of my life. Sonia says, I'm a horrible overthinker, always worried about who I can talk to. And you're the sweetest woman in the world that can have a conversation with an ant. So yes, you're definitely overthinking. Sandra said, I did a poll earlier, 1 story, and I got tons of people. Yes. So a poll is a great way. So on your stories, you can do like this or that. You can ask a question. You can do a poll. So many things that will create interaction on your stories. When you take the time to make a Facebook post of any kind, don't just post and ghost, which means I posted it and I left and I never looked at it again. You can post and ghost, maybe you post on your lunch break and you go back to work, but when you get off work, check it. And if someone is taking the time to comment back, even if it's just like a laughing face emoji, like comment back, do something to where they're like, oh yeah, we're having a conversation. Because again, you're acknowledging them, but Facebook also sees that, oh, they're having a conversation. I'm going to make sure I'm showing stuff. And you guys will probably notice if you're a Thriver on my team and you comment, I'm going to give you something. I'm going to, have a conversation of some sort. But if you're a non-Thriver, you better bet I'm going to have like a true comment back. I'm going to strike something up with people. So when you're making your post and you're letting your light shine, so maybe you're talking about something that's important to you. Maybe you're educating people on something that you've learned. Maybe just something funny that you want to share with somebody. We talk about the 5s list over and over. Mine is dog, wife, business, small business owner, gardener, and travel obsessed. I try to keep track of those. Now, when I do take the time to make a very direct, open Thrive post, I am diligently making sure to remind myself why I thrive. And the longer you've been a Thriver, the harder this becomes. I forget to talk to people about lack of sleep or poor sleep because I haven't had poor sleep in a long time. I forget that that's why I wanted to thrive, because I didn't have any energy because I couldn't get any sleep. So like today I made a post about trial packs and I made sure to talk about how, very briefly, I'm going to pull it up because I don't remember things. This is why I write things down. First, I used a quote, healthy people have a million wishes, sick people only have one. That pretty much gets everyone right in the gut, at least it does me. And so I talked about how, yes, I know you're busy, you're trying to keep track of everyone else, but if you just have a few minutes each day to put your body first, because I didn't think I would have enough time to do something, a few minutes a day, heal your gut, which is immunity, restore your sleep, which is energy, get your balance back, which is calm, level moods. I talk about the 3 things that meant something to me as a non-thriver. Those are the things I wanted to. So I'm very guilty of seeing a millionaire leader make a sample post and just copying and pasting it in the past, but I don't know why they became a thriver. I know why I became a thriver. And so I'm purposely, and like, if I take the time to make a reel, and the reel TikTok reel is going to be about thrive or thrive related, you'll notice mine have a lot to do with sleep, better sleep, restorative sleep. Waking up without my thrive is a no-go. Like you'll notice that. And then I just have reels about gardening and dogs and funny stuff because it's my page. I'm letting my light shine. But so be intentional is, I guess, what I'm saying. Don't just throw out a thrive post that you saw someone else do. Like, make it intentional. What is it that you wanted from thrive? Because somebody out there also needs the same thing you needed. And if you're just talking about, and I think I shared this before, but if you're just talking about the money, and not that people don't need money, they do. So if that's why you join, talk about that. But if someone had said to me, hey, Tammy, you should try this Thrive stuff because you can make money, you can go on trips, and you can get a free car, I would have been like, listen, I can't even get out of bed in the morning. So none of that stuff sounds fun to me. So try to remember what people need or what you needed, and talk about that. Like, be intentional. So I do think that in your social media posts, you need to sprinkle in thrive. I absolutely do. I think it needs to be intentional though, not just willy-nilly, not just I have a sale, or not just, hey, this stuff is so great. Like, it needs to be intentional. And then the rest of your posts need to be intentionally about you and things that you love, what you care about. Maybe you're passionate about a hobby. Maybe you're passionate about a cause of some sort. I always say educate, entertain, and inspire. You know, you could just break that down a little bit every day into those. And then if you have trouble staying on course, give yourself a calendar, Motivational Monday, Transformation Tuesday, or Testimonial Tuesday, something like that. Really think of posting on social media as your job, because it is a part of your job. And you guys, it's an amazing part of your job. Some people have to like go outside and work in the snow or the pouring down rain or save people's lives. We just have to post on social media, but you need to be intentional with what you're talking about. And then we already talked about the names. Like, I honestly think that, I know the sheet is laid out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I actually start every day on number 2. I start every day with my new names. Who am I friending? Who friended me back? Because to me, once I have those names, I've got reach outs. So I start there. And then connecting with a leader, that can happen in lots of different ways. And you'll notice the daily income producing activity list from the company says, what's the name of the leader? And then it says leader. And people are like, what does that mean? Well, to me, and I might be wrong, to me, that means, is it an upline? Is it a downline? Is it a sideline? Because I think I kind of like to look back now at my sheet. And if I'm only talking to my upline, or I'm only talking to my downline, like, there's a problem there. I need to be talking to everybody. So, and then the type, maybe the type was that you put them in a 3-way chat. Maybe you reached out to them directly for some assistance. Maybe you talked to them about an upcoming promo idea you had. Maybe you had them on your team Zoom, like whatever it is. And here's the thing, they don't even have to be your leader. So if you were driving to work today and you came across a YouTube from another leader with Lavelle that you love and respect, and that gets you fired up, and you listen to that, write her name down, write YouTube. What did she talk about? The purpose of always connecting with a leader is that you're always in the business. It's very easy to sit down and do reach outs, and because you're not talking about thrive to those people, not think about the business. But if you have to connect with a leader some way, shape, or form, you're going to be in the business. Ideally, I would love at the end of every day if my sheet said nothing but upline, sideline, blah, 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 chat. Like, I want to be putting my potential people in chats. That's where the money's going to happen. That's where your business is going to grow. But there's going to be a day you don't have a chat. I didn't have a chat today. So what do I have? I have a YouTube that I watched. So don't underestimate the power of this piece of paper. Look at all those names, you guys. And these are just the required names. So I use a couple of sheets per day because I like to do over and above, because I'm trying to get my business to a different place. Don't underestimate that sheet of paper. And if you saved to me or your head or whatever right now, I've been doing 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 forever. I do it all the time. I challenge you to write it down every day for the next 7 days, because I bet you're not. You might be doing the 3, 1, 7, 2, but you're not doing the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can guarantee it. And the only reason I can guarantee it is because that's what I see. That's what I'm seeing with people when we challenge them to write it down. And the other thing too, like, don't get me wrong, I can interact on social media all day long, but if I don't write it down, then how do I remember that Sydney got a dog back on February 14th to follow up with her on March 14th? I'm not, trust me, I'm not. I'm just, there's a lot going on up here and not a lot of it sticks. So I can be interacting all day long, but if I'm not writing it down, I don't know what to do with it. I've spent a bunch of time just chit chatting with people, and I'm not gonna be able to turn that into anything because I can't follow up with anybody because I don't know what I'm talking about. So write it down. You'll be really surprised when you start writing it down. And I would also like to encourage you to know that to fill out, so like, how do I do this? To fill out one day, you guys, you can knock that out in 20 minutes. Like, you just can, just 20 minutes, just sit down, go for it. For those of you that aren't sure, like when you go into your Facebook, your profile, like your page, and you go to scroll down just a little to where it says friends, it tells you like how many friends you have. And then there's the find friends button. If you click find friends, those are your suggestions. Facebook is giving you suggestions. I don't ever remember having a suggestion from this page where we didn't have mutual friends. So that's where I go if I just don't know where else to go. But here's another thing you can do. Do you have, I screwed up my Facebook profile for like a week and a half and it was awful. But anyway, do you have friends who are a lot like you? Like, not in the business, but like maybe strong-headed or passionate about helping people or whatever it is. And maybe they make a post and it's like, yes, everything she said is, perfection. Who comments on that? Who's hearting that? Who's giving her hearts? And I will go into that post and I will, if you click on comment or whatever, I don't know, you can, but then you see it's like, Sonia and 57 other people liked this. If you click on that where it says the people that liked it, it'll show you all the people's names that liked or loved that post or whatever. All of your mutual friends will be at the top, and then scroll down. Anyone that has a blue add friend button next to it, those people think like you. Those people were attracted to that same post you were. And it'll tell you if you have mutual friends with those people. You can add friends from that alone. So there are times where I will make a comment on someone's post and then I'll notice, on the Facebook, like so-and-so else commented. And so I look back and then before you know it, that person friends me. And that's what social media is. It brings us together. Like if we think the same. So maybe try that every blue moon. Like there's a million ways to skin a cat. You just have to know that's what you're going to do that day. So I don't care how you add friends or pick who you friend or whatever, but just know that that's what you're doing. That's what's happening on number 2. You are adding names to your list. You're building your network. If you don't build your network, your business will eventually come to an end because you will not have anyone to talk to. And in a world this big that is disconnected, that is totally a choice for that to happen to someone. There's no other way, but that is the choice. So I hope this was helpful in your upcoming week. I would love to know during the week if you guys are like, oh my gosh, this made 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 easier. Or hey, I never thought about adding people. I will tell you on mine now where it says number 3, where it says social media posts. On number 1, I write the word reel. On number 2, I write the word story. And on number 3, it says FB/IN. And so next to reel, I will give a tick. If I do 1 reel, it gets a tick. Yesterday I did 3, it got 3 ticks. If I'm in my stories 4 or 5 times, it gets 4 or 5 ticks. So again, don't just look at that and be like, oh, I did a story today and I made 2 posts on Facebook, so I'm done. It's the minimum, you guys. This sheet is the minimum. It is not like your cap. So maybe you make 2 Facebook posts that are also on Instagram, but you're in your stories a few times and you do 2 reels. Good. And I know some people are like, yeah, but I don't want to get on people's nerves. If they're watching, that's their choice. They can, trust me, and Facebook knows, the algorithm knows. If they are scrolling past you all the time, they will eventually stop seeing your stuff. So don't even worry about the people who you're trying to not annoy. Don't even worry about them. The people who will look for your stuff and consume your stuff, they'll see it. And that's who you're making it for. Not for the haters, not for the, blah, blah, blahs, whatever you want to call them. You're making it for your business and people who are attracted to you. I'm sure that somebody somewhere thinks gardening is ridiculous and they see my stuff and scroll right by. That's fine. We probably will be good friends. And I'm just being honest. If you can't plant something, I don't want to be your friend. So then that's okay, right? It doesn't matter. And there's somebody out there that thinks dogs are horrible. Well, yeah, scroll right by. I do not care. I am not changing it. Well, guess what? Same thing with Thrive. Somebody probably thinks it's stupid. Scroll on by. I do not feel any different about Thrive than I do my dogs or my plants. So remember that. Like, I'm letting my light shine, and if people don't like it, they can flip the switch. But I ain't flipping it. So that's what these 5, 4, 3, 2, 1s are about. Make your posts so that your light shines. Make sure your posts are intentional. Find people. Go reach out and talk to people. And here's the other thing too. I'm just talking about connecting on social media. Lo and behold, the world is opening back up. When we were in Mexico last week, my friend that I was with, like, her sheet literally said, "Woman at the bar that called it a pyramid scheme." That was a reach out. She had a legitimate conversation with the lady that accused us of being a pyramid scheme because we had stickers on. The other one was Big Mike, because we didn't know his whole name, but Big Mike got a sample pack. You can talk to people in real life. It's okay to do. So yes, I'm talking about from behind the screen mainly tonight, but remember, there are real people out there. Somebody might be at the dance recital. Somebody might be at the farmer's market. I don't know. Wherever you go, remember that everyone around you could benefit from what you have. So don't ever forget about that part also. All right, so that's the nuts and bolts. I went way over time. Sorry, not sorry. Do your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1s, you guys. It will build your business. I promise you, it will build your business. And remember, if you suck at it at first, that's okay, because everyone sucked when they first started. The only people who don't are the ones who are doing it consistently and getting better by the day. So when I look back at my first Facebook posts, they were bad. They were so bad. When I look back at my messenger, oh my God, so bad. My first reels, horrible. And they're still pretty bad, but I think they're fun. But here's the thing. If I don't do them, they're not going to get any better. So dive in and do it. This is your business. If you don't do it, you're saying no to yourself, no one else. You're all here tonight. So clearly you want to work your business. But I can guarantee you the backbone of your business is this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 sheet. And if you can't come here next Sunday with a completed 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then ask yourself, what am I doing? Okay. All right.